Welcome to the overview for instructional plans and ongoing planning. For both SED 390 and 392, you will submit instructional plans for a grade as a way to evidence your deep knowledge of planning for your learners. All of your instructional plans will be kept in your forms notebook, and the university supervisor that is assigned to you will grade the 6 instructional plans that you submit for a grade. As you begin to gain independence throughout the field-based semester, you will ultimately be responsible for designing, implementing, and assessing instructional plans for 3 content areas. There is a gradual assumption of responsibility where you will begin with one content area and then add an additional content area during month 2 and a third during month 3 of your field-based semester. We ask that you co-plan and co-teach each content area with your cooperating teacher 1 week prior to independently planning and teaching on your own. We want you to familiarize yourself with the content, the curriculum, pacing, and the individual needs of your learners. While we understand that your cooperating teacher may not be using a formal instructional plan like the one that ISU requires, but we want for you to begin to collaborate and co-plan with your CT to consider where you would include specific components into our instructional plan template. Throughout the semester, you will increase your level of independence. It is expected that at the beginning of the semester, you're going to have many questions as you're learning a new classroom and meeting all of your learners. Initially, you may be using a lot of the materials and resources that your CT already has in place. But we really challenge you to begin seeking resources of your own and materials that you have found. Towards the end of the semester, you should be independently planning, implementing, and assessing instructional plans for 3 or more content areas. How do I evidence that I am planned in advance? All instructional plans should be kept in your forms notebook, which should be shared with your cooperating teacher on a regular basis. We ask that you submit all plans to your cooperating teacher 2 days in advance so they are able to offer you feedback. This allows your CT time to review your plans as well as additional time for you to take back and make any adjustments prior to implementing. Please date all of your instructional plans and kindly ask your CT to initial and date the plans once they have had a chance to review them. Your supervisor will be reviewing your forms notebook at each of your visits, beginning with visit 2, and this will be one way for them to determine if you have been maintaining your responsibilities. Please note, if any field-based candidate is not planned in advance, they will not be permitted to teach until they evidence to their supervisor that they are meeting their responsibilities. So what exactly does 2 plans in advance mean? We wanted to share a few images with you to further explain what 2 plans in advance looks like. So we have a few calendar images to help you visualize the expectations. Suppose your supervisor was to visit you on a Friday. They should see plans in your forms notebook for Monday and Tuesday. Data should also be included for all plans that have been taught up until that point. If your supervisor visited you on a Friday, but there happened to be no school on Monday, you should then evidence the next 2 plans, which would be Tuesday and Wednesday. Notice that the expectation is 2 plans, not 2 days in advance. An additional note, if you were a CPS candidate and had module on Wednesday, then you would have plans for Tuesday and Thursday in that situation to evidence 2 plans in advance. If your supervisor visited you on a Wednesday, and you had module on Thursday, there was a school improvement day on Friday, for example, you would still be expected to have plans completed for the following Monday and Tuesday. What if my plans need adjusting? As you begin teaching your instructional plans, you may find that you need to make adjustments to the plans that you have already written. You may also find that your pacing was off and it took you twice as long to teach a plan than you thought it would. Or maybe your pacing was much quicker than you anticipated and you ended up teaching two plans during one instructional period. Do not fret. You can annotate right on your plans. Please use post-it notes or highlight or draw arrows, whatever you need to do to evidence the adjustments that you have made. We appreciate seeing your annotations and adjustments that you are making to your instructional plans, as they should be a working document that evidence your responsiveness to the needs of your learners. Please do not feel that you need to reprint your plans. Just highlight, post-it, arrows, whatever works. Submitting a plan to ReggieNet for a grade. Although you will likely design around 60 lesson plans over the course of the semester, you will choose a total of 6 plans to submit for a grade. You may choose which plans you would like to submit. Be mindful of the rubric indicators and choose instructional plans that will best evidence your knowledge and skills. While you can choose any of your plans, with the exception of your EdTPA instructional plans, you might not want to submit an instructional plan where you're administering a test, for example, because you wouldn't have a strong methodology section. Be judicious in selecting the plans that you feel best evidence the requirements. Each instructional plan submission will be on Mondays at 8 a.m. regardless of school holidays. The assignment window will be open for an entire week, and you are able to submit your plan at any point during that week. Remember, if there are late assignments, then a 0 is earned for that plan. Submitted plans will alternate between SED 390 and 392. Plans 1, 3, and 5 are submitted in SED 390, and plans 2, 4, and 6 will be submitted in SED 392. Your supervisor will grade your instructional plans and return feedback and your rubric to you within 1 week. We ask that you review this feedback and make adjustments to your subsequent plans. What should I upload to ReggieNet? When you upload your instructional plans to ReggieNet, you're going to include an electronic version of your plan. If you made those adjustments with post-it notes or highlights, please make those adjustments electronically before you upload and submit those to your supervisor so they can see what was taught. You will choose the assignment tab in either 390 or 392, and then you'll find the instructional plan number where you're submitting, and we ask that you save your document with your last name and the plan number. What should I upload to ReggieNet? You will upload your instructional plan template along with your completely taught plan. You're going to also submit your assessment data and include the qualitative and quantitative data along with your considerations for next steps. We ask that you combine the instructional plan and data into one document to limit the number of attachments that your supervisor needs to review. If you have any additional materials that will support your supervisor's understanding of your instruction, please also include that after the data. Some supervisors prefer that you include your rubric at the end of your instructional plan instead of it being a separate attachment, so just check with your supervisor to understand their preference. You will include an instructional plan rubric for each plan that you submit, whether it's saved at the end of your instructional plan document or as a separate document, but a rubric should be included with all of your instructional plan submissions. Please highlight the course that you are selecting for the submission at the top of the rubric. Your supervisor will return your instructional plan as well as your rubric to you with feedback and the number of points that you have earned. If you have questions about instructional plans, please leave them in the question tool on ReggieNet right under this video. There's also a video on the organization of the forms notebook, and that might be beneficial as a resource for you as well. As a reminder, your supervisor is the one who assesses your instructional plans as well as your ongoing planning, so specific questions may be directed to them. However, we still encourage you to join us for Rectangular Table 30 minutes prior to the start of module to share any questions that would benefit the group. Thanks for your attention.